Okay.
All right, here we go, everybody.
Welcome to Season 5, Episode 8 of Over the Ledge Live, the podcast, the #1, and some say only, political satire show based solely on the Texas legislature. I'm Amy Lowry, and I'm glad you're here. Over the Ledge gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the shenanigans of the Texas legislature by decoding political headlines and legislators' behavior into easy-to-understand 3-ingredient recipes for the microwave. Let's meet our guest tonight. First up, we have our beloved house comedian, Aaron Salinas. Aaron is a writer, actor, and director who loves to share a laugh with folks almost as much as he loves to share a meal with them. Please welcome Aaron to the show.
Yay.
What's up, folks? Very excited to be here. We'll be dipping out momentarily to put food in the oven. So I do like sharing a meal. So that's a little on me.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. Our next comedic guest tonight is Paige Burnett. Paige is a 101 improv student at the illustrious Merlin Works School of Wizardry and Improv. She is also a native Texan by 10 generations. She's a daughter of the Revolution and Republic, and has been married for a long time, a very long time. Welcome, Paige.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is her debut on any Over the Ledge.
I'm excited.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the thing called where the bad people go and they control people. Cult. Welcome to the
cult.
Over the Ledge. Yeah.
Got it.
Join us. Our very special celebrity guest tonight is Mayor Kirk Watson. He will be joining us later in the broadcast. Finally, we have the creator and the ruler of the Over the Ledge Empire, who needs no introduction, Stephanie City Council Chiarello.
Thank you so much, Amy. I'm super excited about today's show. Shh, Aaron, shh.
Ellen, quiet. Just a reminder, if you like what you're listening to and you're in a position to help, please become a patron at whatever level is meaningful to you. It helps us produce the podcast and promote our efforts. Sponsor us at whatever level is meaningful to you at patreon.com/join/overtheledge. LEGE ledge. Now it's time for our first game. Oh no, now it's time for the monologue. What's up in Texas with our host, Stephanie Chiarello.
Yeah, thank you. It is like a game, except it's very, very sad what's up in Texas right now. But let me get right to it for you. I already warned everyone. These are pretty dark.
Yeah.
But, what's happening here? Hold on one second.
We say that every day as Texans. Like, oh no, what's happening here?
What's happening here? It says we are having trouble streaming to Facebook. It is possible the stream was edited. We will keep trying. Okay. All right. Don't worry. Mom and Dad will text me if it's not working out. Okay. We're good. Everything's good. Okay. Recently in Texas, a poll shows half of Republican primary voters don't support incumbents who voted for Paxton's impeachment or those who opposed vouchers. The other half are just taking this poll for fun instead of today's Wordle.
I was so into Wordle, and then I was over it. It was like a fad.
I like Connections. I'm really into Connections.
Connections is so good, man. Oh, so good.
Sometimes it's like this, and other times I can't get it at all.
Yeah, other times I know the English language, and then other times I don't. It's annoying.
Okay, well, I'm still doing Wordle. I guess I'm in the past.
Jill Dutton won the special election against Brent Money to replace Brian Slayton in House District 2. Money was endorsed by Abbott, Cruz, and Paxton and was very upset by his loss. But no worries, money always prevails in Texas politics.
Good one, Stephanie.
Thank you, Amy. The Texas GOP Vice Chair Dana Myers challenged Matt Rinaldi for party leadership, criticizing recent missteps with the white supremacist-aligned group Defend Texas Liberty PAC. I love that we're like, recent missteps. How about a completely inappropriate association with? Okay.
Did I do that?
Okay. However, Myers swore, if elected, I will do a better job hiding it.
What?
These are jokes, Paige. They're setups. They're based in reality, and then there's a punchline.
Thank you for the. Okay.
Allegedly, they did not say that.
Allegedly.
Gotcha.
Okay. Any reasonable person where we take into court would realize they couldn't possibly have said that out loud.
Yeah, but what about Texas court?
Ooh.
What about
We should go off the air right now.
People?
Okay, the lead lawyer on Paxton's whistleblower case, Tony Busby, is charging $540 an hour to defend the attorney general. To be fair, this is also the minimum amount of cash it would take me to be able to stomach spending a full hour with Ken Paxton.
You know, he like televised or did a live stream of his vasectomy.
Who?
Dan Patrick did.
Yes.
Dan Patrick did. Yeah.
I heard that. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. Back when he was a radio DJ.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
Correct.
like 10 years ago. He's just like on Facebook Live, like, hey, everybody, just
Get the vasectomy.
You know what we should do is reenact the audio of that.
That would be fun, right? Like the whirly noises of the tools. And then
Oh
the
my
snip.
goodness.
Aaron could probably help. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Bills for Paxton's whistleblower case have toppled $700,000, but the memories we've earned along the way, priceless.
Uh-huh.
Paxton endorsed House candidate Jared Woodfill against the incumbent despite evidence Woodfill provided his former law partner, alleged pedophile Paul Pressler, with young male aides, putting them at risk of sexual assault. Why? Because the incumbent voted to impeach Paxton. Said Paxton, "Come for the king and you better not miss." Who has clearly never seen The Wire and doesn't know what ultimately happens to the character who says that quote.
Oh.
That's a
It's a
very
great
niche
show.
joke for the people who watch The Wire. You're welcome.
very
What
good.
is
show.
that
It's
subset?
been a minute.
Shit. I haven't watched that show in a long time. I wonder if it
I'm
holds
like,
up.
isn't that the old show? And then he did The Affair. That
Is
actor?
it the same guy who did the effect? Oh.
I don't know.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's
that's,
also like British or Scottish or something, and you don't
Kind of
expect
cute
it.
for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it,
He
yeah.
plays Prince Charles in The Crown too.
Yes, he does.
Ooh.
What's his name?
I can see his face. Okay, House Speaker Dade Phelan is being targeted by Paxton, Abbott, and even Trump in the primaries. Phelan defended himself with an ad citing Paxton's affair, asking, if Paxton will break an oath to his wife and God, why would he tell Trump or you the truth? Not the most effective messaging, since most TV viewers have already broken an oath with their spouse about waiting to watch the next season of True Detective together. Oh, Jodie Foster's in this one? I had no idea.
It's really good too.
Is it? It's too violent for me.
I couldn't get through the
Um,
first 20 minutes. It was different. I'm not used to Jodie like up. Well, let me just slow the beat. She's aging really well. I like that. She's not contorting with the face. I like that. But I'm just so used to seeing her 30 years ago. I got to get acclimated. That's all.
She's powerful in it though.
She
She's
is.
well, then you remember because I watched the first one and then I was like, too much for me, but I
Yep.
had to watch Jodie Foster. She like brings it. Like you're like, oh, now I
She's
know why
pretty
I turned this on
talented,
because of
for
Jodie
sure.
Foster. Yeah.
Yep.
It might take yeah. And the first one's it's all setting it up. Okay, sorry to take away.
That's okay, Aaron.
Dominic West.
Dominic
Thank
West.
you.
Yes.
Dominic West.
Good
We should
job.
have known by his first name. Okay. When asked whether getting rid of Phelan is a smart course of action, Ken Paxton said, I've never had human feelings and I'm Attorney General, so you tell me. That's it. You're welcome. Woo! All right. You got to dig deep here and have a hate for sweet Orange County. An Orange County resident was arrested for making a terroristic threat against the speaker on Facebook. I am reminded of the classic Texas children's joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you glad you don't live in Orange?
Oh.
All right. And finally, really
No-
going to leave you on a high one here.
Sorry,
Governor
I was
Greg,
just-
go ahead. Go, Aaron.
I was gonna say nothing good comes out of Orange. Didn't they just have like a massive fire like so many years ago? Like there's always something
They
wrong
do.
in Orange,
Really
There
small
is.
town.
and it's
Yes.
exactly like of all places, like, and there's nothing good.
I did meet a very nice man from Orange on the slopes when I was 20 years old, and he
I-
helped me. Yeah, I should have
I-
gone.
Go ahead.
Go,
I'm sorry.
Paige. Do you know who he was? I've been meaning to look him up.
No, but it's interesting. I also met a really nice boy when I was like in 6th grade. I was at my grandparents and I would go swim at the pool and then I would make friends. And then I started making friends with boys and it was my job to invite them over to the house for a Coke float. So this guy came over for a Coke float and he was one of my first kisses from Orange.
Oh,
Your
See,
job.
Orange is not so bad.
Put a big emphasis on Coke float. What does that mean?
What's
They're
a Coke
delicious.
float? They're delicious.
They're fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, and
Mm.
finally, to really make your skin crawl, Governor Greg Abbott wants to pardon Daniel Perry, who was
God
found
damn it.
guilty by a jury of murdering Black Lives Matter protester Garrett Foster and given 25 years in prison. All lives matter, whispered Abbott before giving Perry a little forehead kiss and asking him to clear some loiterers off the Governor Mansion lawn.
Oh,
Wait, is he going to pardon
Ew.
him? Or is that
He
going to
That's
wants
what he
to.
said. I heard today that they think Greg Abbott's going to be the VP nominee
Wait,
with Trump. Yeah,
stop.
true.
it makes sense why he didn't run. If you think about it, I mean, it makes
I
sense.
did not see that coming.
I didn't either, and it really horrifies
Dear
me.
heavens,
Makes it
so much
really
for being
uncomfortable.
purple.
I know. Remember,
Yeah.
Paige, when you were like, "I purposely don't pay attention." You're welcome to the trauma. And finally, happy early voting. Texans can early vote in person between today and March 1st in the primary elections. So make your voice heard. Thanks, Amy.
All right. So that happened in Texas again. Just like Texas voting against their best interests, when will they ever learn? Okay, audience, let me tell you how this podcast works. On tonight's episode, Aaron and Paige are competing against each other for the coveted Most Knowledgeable Comedian in Austin Award. This award is given to the comedian who knows the most about Texas politics, according to the outcome on the games of our show. Now, Stephanie, you may show the award.
Dang.
Look at that, Paige. Have you ever?
I'm definitely not going to win, Aaron. So get ready to take that home.
I don't know. You're 10th generation Texan.
I know. That sounds like hustler talk to me.
Yeah.
Whoever
Yeah,
wins
a little.
gets bragging rights and their photo on social media. Wow. A phallic bowling trophy. This is why we need patrons, so we can offer a real prize.
That's right.
They can use you guys could normally you would use our celebrity guest 3 times total between the 2 games, but now you can do some sort of 50-50 thing if you need help. Now it's time to play our first game. So that's city government. Here at Over the Ledge, we're very strict. We focus on the Texas legislature only, except for today. Today, we're talking a little about City Hall, and it's okay. Keep your shirt on. You'll understand when we question our mayor, who also used to be in the Texas Senate. All right, let's play. So that's city government. Stephanie?
That's city government. Okay, this is a multiple choice game. Paige and Aaron, there are 4 choices for you, and you pick the right answer. And like Amy said, normally our celebrity guests would be here and you could phone a friend, but since they're not here, I will remove 2 of the answers. And you get to do that 3 times. You get to ask for that help 3 times in 2 games. And there's 6 questions each game, 3 apiece. Does that make sense, Paige?
Mm-hmm.
Is it my face that's giving it away? Let me change it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, totes. Okay, and you get to go first, Paige, as the new
Oh,
guest. Okay, so here's your question. How many members, excluding the mayor, are on Austin City Council? Is it A, 10, B, 8, C, 150, or D, 15?
I go with 15.
I'm sorry, it is 10, Paige. We have
I
10
thought I said
members.
10. Okay.
I thought you did too, but then I listened. I went to VAR and it said you said 15, but great confidence.
Thank
And
you.
I purposely threw in 150 there because that's how many members of the Texas House we have. So I wanted to throw some people off. Aaron, which of the following is not a current city council member? Is it Natasha Harper Madison, Mackenzie Kelly, Brian McNulty, or Paige Ellis, who is not currently a city council member?
Greg Assad. Can I write one in?
Oh, can you write? And no, you may not, but I
Dang it.
like what you're doing there. I'll
Yeah.
read these names
He's
again
now
for
a House
you.
of Rep. I know it's not Paige.
Okay.
Give it the first three.
Natasha Harper Madison, Mackenzie Kelly, Brian McNulty, or Paige Ellis.
This is no disrespect to him, but Brian McNulty does seem like a pen name. So I'm going to go with Brian McNulty.
You are correct. That is a real
Hey.
person who I went to high school with, but that is his name. And guess what? We have a very special guest who is joining us now. Can you see us, Mayor?
Your
I can
mayor.
see you. Yes.
Excellent.
Hello.
Hi, Watson.
Hey,
Howdy.
guys.
Welcome.
I think you know everyone except Paige, our newest member for tonight.
Hello,
Paige.
Hi, nice to meet you, Mayor Watson.
Back at you.
So you joined us just in. We're just starting our first game that's called So That's City Government. So if you'd like to join, you can be the phone a friend on these next couple of questions.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure I have enough expertise, so y'all be careful.
All right, this is question 3 for Paige. Which of the following is not a committee of the City Council? The Mobility Committee, the Housing and Planning Committee, the Public Health Committee, or the Equality and Equity in Employment Committee? Which one is not a committee of City Council?
Can you repeat it again?
Yeah. Mobility, Housing and Planning, Public Health, or Equality and Equity in Employment?
I want to say mobility, but like I said, I'm very limited in my knowledge about the city government.
Would you like to phone a friend?
I would like to phone a friend.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
What am I supposed to say it or just say she's wrong?
You should say it.
Just say I'm
You can
wrong.
do whatever you want, but
Well,
just
no,
tell her the answer.
I rarely, as mayor, get to just say you're wrong, but you're wrong.
I love it.
Friend.
In fact, we have a mobility committee, and Paige Ellis is the chair of that committee.
Wow.
And the correct one is whatever the last one is that you said.
The equality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equality and Equity in Employment. That is
I just
not
didn't
a real
want that.
committee.
I didn't want that to not be a real committee because it sounds so
I-
good.
Thank you. I made it up. Thank you.
Okay. It sounds really good.
Okay, we just pushed you right in this, Mayor. How are you
Yeah.
doing?
Welcome. Yeah, it's good to
Welcome, whatever.
Well, y'all. Yeah, and thank goodness I got it right on the first thing you throw me in.
You should- and I should have remembered that you're always early. Why did I forget that? So
I'm
welcome
good.
to the show again.
And I'm pleased to be part of the show again. Yeah.
Thank you. I
It's
meant to go
interesting because when I went on to what is this? Is this Stream? What's it called?
StreamYard.
StreamYard. I think the last time I used StreamYard was to be on this, and I had to change the title because it was.
Oh,
it
a
was
senator?
Yeah, it was senator last
Oh, I
time.
love that.
Right.
It confused me for a second.
I'm pretty sure you've been on every single Over the Ledge season, and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think I have. It's fun.
We have a, like 10 timers robe we're working on. I just haven't
Good.
finished sewing it yet, but you will get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need to do that in kind of a real public setting.
Oh, maybe like a city council meeting or on your patio up there. What?
Yeah, I'm not humiliated enough at city council meetings, so let's do that.
Let's present the robe.
I almost posted. Do you remember the promo you recorded for
Yes.
Over the Ledge for the very first one? I almost put that one up today.
That
Get
was
it?
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I will. I'll post it again. Okay, we're going back to the quiz, and then we have a great bio for you. Don't worry, we'll get to it before I interview you.
But can I ask you, is it hard to see, Aaron, or is this just my eyes?
It's Aaron has very sexy lighting. He does it on purpose.
It's
It
an
gets
artistic choice.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mayor,
Artistic
she put
choice.
you up to it, but that is 2 shows in a row. If we get a third one, I'll change the lighting. Jeez,
Well, no, I don't think you need to. Change is not the appropriate word. I think you need lighting.
Mhm. Aaron, how many more? It's the mayor telling you this. What else do you
I
need?
don't turn on my big light. I prefer ambiance. I prefer vibes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
How about a
I
candle?
was worried about my eyesight, but you've answered the question. It's not me we should be worried about.
It's not. No,
Fair enough. Fair.
yeah.
If it was just clarification instead of grilling, I'll accept.
No, just clarification. I just don't want to feel like I'm losing my eyesight.
No.
It just made me look good. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Aaron, I think this is for you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What is the City of Austin message board? Is it A, job listings for the City of Austin? B, a transparent place where council members state intentions and have discussions with each other? C, a place for residents to directly message their city council members? Or D, a place to alert the city to needs in your neighborhood, like fixing potholes, picking up trash, etc. And this is called the City of Austin message board.
I'm a child of the 90s, and God, I hope it's nothing like the message boards of then. So,
Actually, it looks like it when you look at like the fonts and the prompts. It's definitely.
I hope it's a much safer space than it was back then. I saw Mayor's face light up whenever you mentioned it. So, Mayor, do you want to take it away?
Sure. The message board is an attempt at modernization of the Open Meetings Act, and it recognizes that there may be conversations that should occur between members of the governing body, and in order to keep it open and so that the public gets to see what the thought processes are, you may post on the message board, and that's really the only way to communicate with all of the governing body members without it being in an open meeting. So it is utilized to be more efficient, so you can communicate between meetings. But it is a way to put actual policy making, deliberation, if you will, without having an open meeting. The piece of legislation was passed by, what was his name, Stephanie? Kirk Watson. Back some time ago.
I heard about him. Him.
He did not appreciate fully that he would someday be utilizing said message board, but he thought it was a good idea at the time.
Well, it's a good opportunity now to talk about when you were in the Senate. You file a bill, and then you can have as many conversations as you want with as many people behind closed doors. And there's no law against that. But the city government, that's the only way you communicate, either in the open meeting or on this, what seems almost like a love letter board. It's like, I care so much about this almost honorable one. I was reading it today. I was entertained.
Yeah, well, that it is very different. The legislature, people are talking all the time, and working votes and counting your votes in committee and on the Senate for bills that are going to make it to the Senate floor. Same thing in the House. But in local government, the Open Meetings Act prevents that sort of activity, and it needs to be done in an open forum. You cannot deliberate. You can discuss things in less than a quorum, and you can have a sub-quorum, but you have to be careful that you don't create a situation where you have what's called a walking quorum, where you're talking to 3 or 4 people and they're talking to 3 or 4 people, different people, and you end up having a deliberation that. So I apply a lot of discipline to that so that we don't do that. And the Open Meetings Act was ruled unconstitutional in February of 2019 by the Court of Criminal Appeals, where somebody had appealed their conviction as a violation, and it was just before the filing deadline for bills. So to fix it, I carried that bill too, and we had to rush to get that fixed. And we provided some clarity, but it's interesting to be now on the side where you have to apply it, because even with as much time and energy as we put into it, there's still some vagaries to it.
Thank you. I encourage everyone to check it out. I honestly didn't know it existed until today.
Like, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I have multiple screens, but it's the City of Council message board. It's like gray and white, and there's all kinds of items. And I think that's an incredible idea. Like, way to bring us into the 21st century.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah. You know, what's interesting is you say that, and what Stephanie was joking about earlier about the font and all of that.
Yeah, it is different.
It is different. And one of the things that's true about it is you can't change the font, and you can't like put subheadings like you would do in a Word document or something like that. So when the reason I laugh when you say way to bring us into the modern century, we still, the idea is good. We still have a ways to go though on the technology.
I mean, for government, you're like 30
start.
years behind, so we're winning.
But that's my answer, the one that Mayor said.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I kind of took that answer away, didn't I?
No, I wanted you to.
That's what happens when you put an egotistical mayor who carried the legislation. I got a lot to talk about.
Who are you? Don't say that. But I do plan to respond to lots of things on the message board now that I know it's out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I tried to log in, but I don't have an account. But it does say you can reply. Like regular everyday people can reply.
If that's the case, I don't know that. I don't know how they can get into it. They can see the message board. And in fact, I put things on the message board from time to time to the whole council, hoping that the public will look at it. For example, every Wednesday before a Thursday meeting, I will put out a message to the entire council telling them what to expect, the order of business the next day will be, how speakers can donate time and that kind of thing, in hopes that the general public will also look at that and get a feel for what to expect at the council meeting.
Wonderful. That's a good lead into our next question, Paige.
Oh,
how often does the City of Austin Council meet? Is it for 5 months every other year, every 2 weeks generally, once a month, or once a quarter? How often do they meet?
what would make the most sense would be once a month, but it's probably once a quarter. That's my final answer.
Once a month or once a quarter?
Well, once a month is what feels right, but I'm thinking it's probably once a quarter. It's a guesstimate. Once a quarter.
I'm sorry, it's every 2 weeks generally.
See?
Every 2 weeks.
I love the balloons.
What are you doing?
It's the new update on iOS. So Mayor, do the give the rock on symbol. Give it a second. Look at that.
That's awesome.
That looked like, do you remember the sketch where like Kirk Watson came to talk to Kirk Watson from the future? So when you just did that, it looked like you're coming from the past.
I love being with y'all.
Oh my God.
Oh, it doesn't work for me.
I know.
Well,
I'm
Aaron,
not on a Mac.
the fact that you knew that is impressive. With that level of knowledge, you think you know about light switches. But having said that, I didn't know what I was doing. But apparently, I have a habit of saying, "Look, there's two things we ought to be talking about."
Every time he does that.
So I would be talking to people in important meetings, and while I was talking, all of a sudden balloons would go up, and I would say, "Did anybody see that?" And they'd say, I thought somebody was pranking me. And so I was supposed to be traveling to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I was going to be coming into the council meeting virtually, and I said, and Stephanie's been around me a lot, so she knows how this was said, was you guys got to figure out why this is doing this, because I don't want to be out to the world and do that and have balloons go off. So they came to me, and the tech people came to me, and they said, well, what you're doing is you're holding up 2 fingers.
It keeps happening. It's great.
And they said, there are other things. For example, have you ever said, look, there's a couple of things we need to be talking about.
Okay, I got to describe this for our audience. We got balloons, we got confetti, we've got lasers.
Yeah.
I think if you do
Heart.
this, you'll get fireworks. I'm not totally sure.
Oh,
If you
perhaps
if
if
you're
we
like celebrating,
handshake,
I think, and then
maybe
if you
a
do
little
thumbs up,
closer to your head.
I've
like
never seen that.
thumbs up, you'll get
Oh,
there. We go. Okay.
fireworks.
Wow.
Thumbs up.
You're good. That's great. So anyway, so now that I know I can do it, you see, I enjoy playing with it. And so I do it all the time. I've been on a number of calls where I don't tell anybody I know what I'm doing. I'll just be, and they all go, what are the balloons? What balloons? I didn't see any balloons. So it's now just become something. And so I'm happy to share it with you.
That's so great.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Aaron, last question in this game.
Uh-huh.
Who was the first mayor of Austin?
Dang it. I did look that up earlier.
Edwin Leonard Waller, Roy Spence Butler, Jeremiah Edgar Zilker, Robert Michaela Mueller.
Did you just pick like the most Austin things?
That's pretty funny.
James T. Waterloo.
Winston Town Lake.
Winston
Town
Town
That would
Lake.
have been funnier. Winston Town Lake.
Very good.
Jonathan Dirty's Hamburgers. Like just anything. I know Royce is a name in this. I've seen on buildings. So part of me wants to say Royce. No, that's what I wanted to say, but what I'm gonna say, because the
don't pull
mayor
a
took a deep,
page.
because the mayor took a deep sigh, so I want to say A.
That is correct. That's
Hey.
correct. That's Waller.
Edwin Waller. And who was the second mayor?
Hold.
Yeah, Aaron.
Hold.
Oh, Paige is looking it up.
The second mayor was also the
Bruce
second
Todd.
mayor.
Oh no, that was long
Yeah,
time.
no. The second
really
mayor
recent.
was also our 7th and 10th mayor.
Oh, wow.
A dude named
It must
Pegleg
be-
Ward. His
Say-
name was Pegleg Ward.
Really?
Pegleg Ward.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Pegleg
Oh.
Ward.
He was
Who
the
names
second,
their kid peg leg?
second, 7th, and 10th mayor of Austin. He never served more than a year in any one of those 3 terms. He and Tom Miller of the famous Tom Miller Dam were the only other 2 mayors in Austin history, other than the guy that brings his own balloons to Zoom calls, to serve non-consecutive terms as mayor of the city of Austin.
Wow.
Huh.
Is this
Wow.
all in? Did you ever? It sounds like you know a lot about Austin history. Have you ever thought about putting it together in some sort of form that people? No. Okay.
No.
Next question.
It's
I
on
did write-
Wikipedia.
I did write that book.
Oh, can you bring that closer to the camera, please, sir? Oh, we
Can you
got
see it?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Austin Unlimited.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
I wrote
wonderful.
this with Kate. Help me with this. Stephanie, Kate Alexander.
Yes, I know about the book you wrote. I
thought you did. I was
prompting you. I was prompting you, like you were.
I
Yeah.
was thinking, wow, has she forgotten?
No, we
lucky
just
to be invited. That she's forgotten who I am. Like, what?
no. We're just not. We're not quite clicking yet. But no, I was trying to.
Okay.
I was trying to pitch that to you.
Have
Okay,
you ever thought about
He was setting you up.
I did. I saw your face, and I was like, I know you wrote a book. Here's your
He seemed
chance.
hurt. He did
Pitch
see
it.
the balloons weren't coming out. He was hurt. He was.
That's right. Where's rain? How do you make rain come down? We got some fireworks. Okay. How are we doing, Amy?
Okay, Aaron is ahead 3-1. That last one was a little questionable.
Questionable.
She tries to take my points away. She takes
I
my
know I
writing
do.
away, my points. Like,
The
jeez.
mayor is picking on you.
That's true.
Okay.
The
Sorry.
lighting.
Sorry.
Let's play our second game, Amy.
Okay, let's see. Mayor Watson has served both in the Texas legislature and as a city council member. So let's play legislator, council member, or fictional mayor, where players have to decide if the name Stephanie Reeds is a legislator, city council member, or fictional mayor. This should be good.
Okay, so Paige, I'm going to say a name and you have to decide, is this a Texas legislator, a City of Austin council member, or a fictional mayor? Are you ready?
I'm
And you
ready.
each have 2 phone a friends left. So
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and only 3 questions left. Okay, the first one is Leslie Poole. Is Leslie a legislator, city council member, or fictional mayor?
I'm going to say a fictional mayor. I don't really know. Or no, she's a council member.
Yes, she's a council member. There, that's the cheat for Paige. So Aaron
Thank you.
and Paige are equal.
She is, in fact, the mayor pro tem of the city of Austin right now.
Oh.
I tell you really quick, I don't want to make this about me and hijack it, but I'm so glad I'm on this podcast because I'm learning so much.
Will you give her a heart for me, Mayor?
Thank you,
So
Mayor.
that she knows that. That's exactly what this show is supposed to
you.
do, Paige.
It's
The
a
problem with
learning
the-
moment.
The problem with the hearts is that I have extraordinarily short, chubby fingers, and I can't really make a good heart.
It's getting the job did, though, sir.
It
It's
is.
getting the job did.
Okay, Aaron, you
Uh-huh.
know, legislator, council member, fictional mayor. Rachel Wando.
Who? Rachel.
Rachel.
Wait a minute. Is that a fictional
Wando.
mayor?
Yes, it is.
Right? Yeah.
It's Linda Hamilton and Dante's Peak. Mayor Rachel Wando.
Ah,
Yeah. I
love
was
that
like,
movie.
that is somewhere, like, that's a bug somewhere in my brain. Why do I know that from a movie?
I don't know.
Pierce Bronson was saving the day.
All right. Back to you, Paige.
Ugh.
Cody Harris.
Oh,
Cody Harris.
gonna say, what were my choices?
Legislator, council member, or phone a friend, as Amy is hinting to you. There's a man who I
Phone a
know
friend.
knows this one.
Phone a friend.
Mr. Mayor, Cody Harris.
Thank you, Mayor Watson, for your help.
Cody Harris, here I'm gonna try to help you with the answer. Cody Harris is not a council member.
So that means he's got to be legislation, right? The legislative member.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, he
thank you.
is.
Thank you
Good job.
Thank you for the
Good
lead.
job. He's in the House, District 8 from not Palestine.
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 Over
I've
in
only
the piney
recently
wood.
realized how unoriginal all of our city names are. Like they're all from places in England or other places. It's like New York. I don't know why I'd never
New
been
Boston.
yes.
New York. Yeah.
But really, New York is like New York, right? Or
Athens.
Palestine or Paris or Athens or
yeah.
Kingsville begs to differ. Thank you very much. Home of the largest ranch on the Northern Hemisphere. Thank you.
that he acquired all that land legally. Okay, Aaron.
He's even got the cannons to prove it.
That's right. He didn't kill a single woman or man to do that. Okay.
Hey,
this
but they're
is
good trucks. They're good
The
trucks.
fourth one. Okay. Richard Wilkins III.
Oh,
I've seen that name. Mayor, I got 2. You mind helping me with this one?
You got. I'm sorry. What did you say you have?
I got 2 phone to use.
Oh, okay.
Richard Wilkins III.
Am I helping you on this one?
Yes,
please.
yes, please.
Sorry, I apologize. Richard Wilkins is not, I'll do the same thing I did with Paige, is not a fake mayor.
That does nothing for me. That is not the same as Paige.
It just turns into like 50-50.
I know. I was going to see how you played that.
I feel like I've seen his name on a poster.
What?
I feel like I've seen his name on a poster.
Like Marvel.
No, like a
Campaign
like an election,
poster.
like a campaign poster. Oh wait, what? Richard Wilkins III, a legislator. I don't know what is that.
I'm sorry, you got it wrong. He's a fictional mayor from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh,
I'm biting, I'm stabbing, I'm exploding.
I want to have fun too, so I just decided to see where you'd go with that.
He's the one that turns into the big worm thing at
How'd I
graduation.
get Dante's Peaks mayor, but not
I know.
Buffy the Vampire?
I know.
So disappointed, Aaron. Okay, Paige, last question in this game. Council member, fictional mayor, legislator, Jose Velasquez.
It sounds familiar. I don't know. I can't even fake it.
Do you have a phone a friend?
I don't think
Yeah, you have
I don't
one
know if
more.
Okay,
You
I
can
have
decide
to.
if he's telling you the truth or playing a game.
I'm in a learning space right now, and I feel like it's also psychologically safe. So I'm gonna phone a friend.
All right.
Okay.
Is that me?
Yes, sir.
That's you.
Please, sir.
Jose Velasquez is a council member.
True or false or
You're going to.
Ugh.
Like I gave Aaron.
50-50. Fictional mayor.
He's
Legislature.
he's a council member.
City council member.
He's a city council member, and Stephanie is.
Sorry, I told you. I was just gonna be learning.
I gave you the answer.
I know, but I still got confused. I thought it was a trick.
Because he played Aaron so bad.
Stephanie.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Velasquez's mom is Yolanda, who you worked with in the city.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, she's great.
That's wonderful. Okay, last question, Aaron.
Fool me once.
Fool you once.
Yes. Shame on me.
Ryan Harrison. Ryan Harrison.
That's it. I'm going.
I'm gonna use it one more time. Mayor,
Mayor.
bring it home for me.
Ryan Harrison is a member of the legislature.
Fool me twice.
Oh, no, we
Legislator.
lost Paige.
Paige quit.
That's right. Paige quit.
No,
She
can
couldn't
we
handle
answer?
it. She'll
Yeah,
come
she'll
back.
come.
You're right, Aaron.
Hey.
You can trust the mayor on that one. He is a member of the legislature. A crazy, crazy man who
Well, now I'm
I don't
curious.
know if the mayor feels comfortable saying, but he tweeted something the other day that was like, Phelan has an Obama staffer. Would you trust an Obama staffer? And I was like, Brian, Obama is like 8 years ago. You just gotta let go. We didn't have fun memojis yet.
He's back.
Right? Like, just you got to pick something new. All right, Amy, who won the
Okay.
coveted award?
Despite the shenanigans, Aaron has won 5-3.
Despite the shenanigans and lighting.
Congratulations to the
Okay.
most knowledgeable comedian in Austin.
Okay, let's
Think
smile.
what he could do if he could see in his phone to look these things up.
Come in
I
to
see
fight,
just
Aaron.
fine, Mayor.
You're victorious.
Congratulations, Paige. Great job. Great
Yes,
job. I
very
want
good
you to know you
job.
did a great job.
Those questions are
Okay.
hard.
I did the best I could.
You did.
Really
That was
glad I
on
had
the
a
film.
friend. Thank you, Mayor Watson.
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
All
What's
right.
next, Amy?
Now is the time for the main attraction when Stephanie interviews Mayor Kirk Watson. Austin Mayor Kirk Watson has been immersed in public policy in both local and state government in Texas for over 3 decades. He won his first term as Austin Mayor in 1997 and was reelected 84% of the vote. He also served as in the Texas State Senate from 2007 to 2020. He was honored multiple times in Texas Monthly Magazine's analysis of the state's best legislators. In 1998, the magazine described him as a man with a vision of what the community wants and the moxie to carry it out. Plus, he has earned the prestigious 8-timer award for being on our show 7 times. That's right. We don't count.
Welcome,
All right.
Mayor.
Welcome, Mayor. Mayor
All
Watson.
right. And we've got confetti. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yay.
Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it. It's always a great show when you're here.
I'm honored you asked me. You know I am.
Thank you.
Stephanie and I have 2 traditions. This is one of those traditions, and the other is every
Your
Halloween.
grandma. Oh,
Well, what?
sorry.
What were you remembering?
You said I have 2, and I was thinking about your grandma's recipe, but that's
Oh,
not
no.
our tradition.
That's not ours. No, every Halloween I take a picture with a member of her family as we watch her grow up. So her niece.
Yeah. I need to find those. I'll post them with this
That would be
episode because
great.
I have them all. They're really cute.
I enjoy
Well,
that.
you know, Over the Ledge is about the Texas legislature, and I've made this exception since you are no longer in the Texas legislature. But because Austin is such a target from the legislature, and you just recently left it, that's what I really want to focus on talking about. So,
Okay.
and so the first question really is, how much has the mayor's office changed in the 20 some odd years since you were last there? What was the biggest shock returning to the office?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I was mayor, and you're right. I was mayor 97 to 2001. And so this is my second time. And we talked about it a minute ago that it's not usual to have non-consecutive terms. So I'm a slow learner, and I feel like I did in the second grade when they made me stay an extra year for second grade. I'm back. That didn't really happen. Please,
Okay, good.
that'll end up on some sort of a pack ad that he failed the second grade. But yeah, I would say there are 2 biggest things that are changes. One is when I was mayor the first time, we were becoming a big city. We were starting to address some of the challenges that are now at scale. For example, the first time I was mayor was the first time we created a resource center for the homeless. It was the first time we put $3 million, as my memory, into a women and children's shelter for people living homeless. We created the downtown community court. It was the first in Texas when we did that, so that we could help people that were living homeless get into services. It was the first time we created an affordable housing trust fund. So you could, as we were becoming a big city, we envisioned some of the challenges that we would be facing 20 and 25 years later. There's no question we are a big city. And so a lot of those issues that we started addressing back then, in a very rapid fashion, we became a big city, and those challenges have gone to scale. And so now we're having to address them in many instances, not by anticipating and trying to get ahead, but from behind, trying to catch up. The other big, I've got to be careful. I don't notice how quickly I put the other big change is media. Back 25 years ago, you didn't have social media. So you didn't have the constant, in many instances, sort of toxic attack that you see across a variety of different entities. And the other thing is you had, the newspaper had an editorial page, and I might go sit down with the editorial board and talk to them. I've met with the editorial board 1 time since I've been elected. you just don't do. It's just not the same as what you used to do in that regard, and the what we would consider to be the more traditional media is also very anxious because it needs to get it on social media as quickly as possible, so that the depth with which initial things are put out there is not as great as it used to be. So I'd say those are the two big differences.
Thank you. Now, your wife was a newscaster,
Yeah,
right?
she was.
Okay.
Yeah, Liz was a reporter and anchor in Lubbock, in Waco when I was in law school, and then when we moved to Austin, she was a reporter and did the was weekend anchor at Channel 24 KView for several years.
I love KView.
Yeah.
What was the biggest shock for you? I mean, you came back to the mayor's office. Were you ready for, I feel like the storm was the first thing, the winter storm. Like, you just came back and the shit rained down. Were you ready for it, I guess? Did you have an umbrella? How'd you feel about that?
I'm telling you, the first month to 6 weeks of this thing, I kept waiting for the frogs and the locusts. It was unbelievable. And you're right. So real early, we had the winter storm. Within 3 weeks, we had the winter storm that shut everything down. That was part of the reason that within the first 6 weeks, we also found ourselves in a situation where we were firing the city manager. And that was in part because of response to all of the winter storm. In addition to that, in my opinion, the city manager had badly handled our potential contract with the police. And we can go into more detail on all that if you'd like. But I thought it was wrong that was, and I told him right after my election, don't surprise the council. Don't drop something on us at the last minute. And in fact, he held a press conference without telling any of us that he was going to do it, announcing that he had a contract, which he didn't because the council needed to vote on it. And that contract would have blocked the ability of the public to vote in the May election on police oversight. So it would have preempted it. And I wasn't going to be in favor of that. In addition to that, I got COVID. First time I had COVID. And so I was having to I couldn't preside under the Open Meetings Act. So I was having to participate virtually. So it was one kind of horrible thing after another in the first 3 to 6 weeks. And like I said, the first time I had COVID and I had it really bad. But I was still having to work. I had decided that I was either invincible or I had already had it and didn't know I had it, which I attributed to I just feel like shit so much of the time I didn't know when I had a deadly disease. Right through it. But anyway, yeah, you're right. The first month of this was really a difficult and difficult time, but we got through it. And one of the things I said the reason I was running was to try to stabilize city government and shake up City Hall. And we've done that. We've made a lot of change in what now I guess is 14 months.
14. And then after that, the first 6 weeks, the legislature came back to town.
Oh, yes. I do remember. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I know you've been working in therapy to forget that they were here.
Yeah. So keep in mind, I was sworn in January 6th of 2023. So, yeah, the legislature was a part of that, and I was having to spend an extraordinary amount of time up, City Hall's on Cesar Chavez. We actually, our official address is 2nd Street, and so I would make my way up Congress Avenue frequently.
I want you to tell the story about when you were running for AG and Greg Abbott. And then tell me why the legislature hates Austin so much and how your relationship with the governor has hopefully made it not as bad as it could have been.
Well, so for people that don't know, I left the mayor's office in November of 2001. And the reason I left was because I was going to run for attorney general. And the way it works under our city charter is when you announce for another office, if you're mayor and you announce that you're going to run for attorney general, you automatically resign the mayor's office. And you serve in the mayor's office until your successor is picked. And I think the charter says in the ordinary course, which is an election. And so I had announced in August of 2001, so that meant I resigned. And then in November, we had a special election to replace me. So I ran and won I won the primary in March. So I was the Democratic nominee for attorney general. And Greg Abbott, who's now our governor, was the Republican nominee. He had been on the Texas Supreme Court, and he was the Republican nominee for attorney general. So we ran against each other in a knockdown, drag-out race. For those that are wondering, and you don't have to phone a friend, I'll just tell you, I didn't win. Nobody called me general after that election. And so he served as attorney general. But we developed a pretty good relationship. We didn't have it in 2002, I'll tell you, but we were at each other's throat quite a bit. But then, for example, a minute ago, we were talking about the message board. When I held the press conference to announce that I was going to carry that legislation, I did that with then Attorney General Greg Abbott, because the Attorney General, one of the big responsibilities of the Attorney General's office is to deal with public information and open meetings. That is one of the functions of the Attorney General's office. So we did that to show bipartisan support for that sort of bill, because it's important at the legislature, particularly when you're in the minority party, to be able to put that together. Your question about relationships mattering is a good question. I think the fact that I served in the legislature as long as I did and had the kinds of relationships that I've had, both Democrat and Republican, does make a difference. I'll give an example. One of our biggest issues, which we've talked about in Austin, is how we address people living homeless, and we do right by them. And at the same time, we enforce the camping ban, and the legislature, as you know, Stephanie, passed legislation mandating that the camping ban be enforced. Well, one of the things that I'm real proud of is that working with the governor's office and the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, the state of Texas awarded nonprofits in Austin $65 million to help with homelessness in Austin. And in addition to that, we needed space. And so working with the governor's office, and the governor's office and I working with TxDOT, the Texas Department of Transportation, bought 7.1 acres of land next to an entity we call Camp Esperanza, which is a non-congregate shelter space. They bought 7.1 acres that they're making available. This was not city money. This was TxDOT. And again, working through the governor's office, we were able to get them to buy that land that we're now going to put about $30 million worth of non-congregate sheltering from that $65 million onto that space. Well, that happens in part because you know you're going to fight about the things you're going to fight about. I'm going to defend Austin's values and always will. And people that know me, including you, know that I know how to do those fights. But we're also going to find those places that we can work together to do what's good for the city of Austin.
I didn't realize that about Camp Esperanza.
Yeah.
What is, you said non-something housing
non-congregate. So it's not just a big old area where people are all sleeping, side by side on that. So what we'll do is Camp Esperanza currently has, and I'm not sure exactly how many, so I won't go in, but they have a number of what you would think of as tiny housing, with a hard front door and a roof, and what we're going to do is we're going to replicate that on this space and on this new 7.1 acres. We think there was about $3 million of planning money. Now, of the $65 million, $5 million was for stabilization type money. So Caritas got $2.5 million, LifeWorks got $2.5 million, and they'll help in ways like rental stabilization or rapid rehousing, things of that nature for people living homeless. But that other money, at least that around $30 million, will go to building those tiny homes so that people that are on the street will have the ability to have a place to be again, they're not going to congregate. So it's non-congregate sheltering.
Got it.
And also get wraparound services that they need. My hope is, and I have strong reason to believe this will happen, that we will use the other roughly $30 million for a second site. And one of the things that you may have heard me talk about recently is I'm looking at what will be considered to be therapeutic housing, non-congregate sheltering, that would be therapeutic housing that we might utilize at the Austin State Hospital. And Stephanie, you'll remember I spent session after session, about $300 million total to redo the Austin State Hospital. We're going to cut the ribbon on that in May.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And people will move into that in June. But what we want to do is create some of that non-congregate sheltering for people that would otherwise be homeless, because one of the things that happens is if somebody's in crisis and they go into to Austin State Hospital and then their competency is restored. Now they're not cured, but their competency is restored, but they have no place to go. So if you allow them to leave the hospital, then what will happen is, in many instances, they'll end up right back out on the street. They may couch hop for a while, but they'll end up on the street and they'll be in another crisis that probably exacerbates. So that's one part of therapeutic housing. Another is they may be with some therapeutic housing and some care, they don't need to go into that hospital.
Yes.
And so if we could get that set up, we could divert them from the hospital. So the beauty of this idea, if we can make it work, is that not only are we helping people individually, but we also, with therapeutic housing, but we also are in essence increasing the number of beds at the Austin State Hospital, because people that don't really need to be in one of those beds, we can take care of otherwise. And that means somebody that does need that bed that otherwise wouldn't get it because somebody's there already. So in reality, you increase the number of beds, so you really leverage those resources.
That's wonderful.
I have no idea what question you asked me, but thank you for allowing me to filibuster on housing.
May I recommend the Old Fries on Mopac and Breaker as a place to put teeny homes inside of as another site. Every time I drive past that Old Fries, it's got to be 4 acres. I don't know how much space it takes up, but it's got to have bathrooms and electricity and utilities, and you could put homes in the computer. I'm being serious. I'm making a joke, but every time I drive by that place, I'm like, why aren't we putting people inside this?
Because there's nothing there, if I'm not mistaken. That whole
it's been
half
5
of the
years.
lot. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I'll look into it. I don't know.
You're welcome. So you said filibuster, and I wanted to bring up.
You made me hungry, and I was really distracted for a second.
I'm really hungry, actually. That sounds delicious.
This has been a long day.
I'm so sorry. You said filibuster, and I'm excited to hear you say that because you played such a large part in the 2012, 2013 filibuster. And I remember talking to you about this before. Like, we had this incredible moment. It didn't become a movement. Will you talk a little bit about your participation and what you think happened?
Yeah. So you're talking about the filibuster that Senator Wendy Davis, my good friend, and as you remember, Stephanie, I was chair of the Democratic caucus at the time. And so during the course of that day, we did a lot of preparation, a lot of things in preparation. I could go on and on about that. But during the course of that morning, we got things prepared, and I still maintain the night before, the Lieutenant Governor, then David Dewhurst, he tried to get a vote on more than one occasion to suspend the rules in hopes that what he could do is he could bring that bill up, that very bad bill up, because then it would have required a filibuster that lasted, more than 24 hours. And there was no way anybody could pull that off, right? So we were able to block that on two separate occasions, and he wasn't able to do that. And then I could go into individual people that we had to deal with, and I played a role in all of that. The next morning, we also had I don't think the Lieutenant Governor thought we were ready. The discussion the night before had been that we would do one resolution if he would quit trying to suspend the rules, and we got to the next day and he called us to order. Then we would have the Democrats would pull down a whole bunch of resolutions that we had, and we would only do one, and that was to honor the father of Senator Letitia Van de Putte. Her father had passed away, and she was that night before when he was trying to sneakily suspend the rules. What he was trying to do was get those rules suspended when we didn't have one of our votes on the floor, because Senator Van de Putte was in San Antonio at her father's wake. Literally, they were trying to suspend the rules over this man's dead body. I mean, which don't get me started.
That's
really
Yeah.
sad.
Anyway, so we were going to do one resolution, and then there was another bill that Senator Joan Huffman had that everybody was in agreement needed to pass. It related to capital punishment and some other things, and everybody, it needed to fix something the Supreme Court had put on. And so we said, bring that up. We will not filibuster it. That bill will pass. That way you'll get that bill passed, and then bring up the other bill, and we're going to that will be filibustered. That was really the agreement. And when we got there the next morning, I don't think he thought we were ready. And one of the things I don't think we thought we were ready about is I don't think he thought that Senator Davis was prepared. And by that, I mean physically prepared with a catheter of some sort so that she wouldn't need to go to the bathroom. The truth of the matter is that she had done that earlier in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We had a doctor come in and a nurse come in and place a catheter. I later went to check on her later that morning before the filibuster started, before we were on the floor, and how is everything? And we had a problem. And the problem was that it wasn't draining. And so we actually had to rush. And the reason it wasn't draining is the cap on the bag there was a piece of cardboard, so it wouldn't drain into that. And that had, long story, but he didn't think we were ready, but we were double ready in some instances. So when she came on the floor, what he did was he didn't recognize Senator Huffman. He didn't recognize anybody for the resolution. He didn't recognize Senator Huffman. He went straight to Senator Hager, who was carrying that bill. And but Wendy was ready. So I spent the day arguing with the Lieutenant Governor and the parliamentarian on a variety of things about how a point of order could be called. I got him to admit early. I got him to say on the record early that if there were 3 points of order called on her, that it would be a debatable motion to whether or not to terminate the filibuster. Well, he violated that later. I mean, I spent the day trying to set up things for later in the day. And then what happened was they called a totally bull point of order, and that's half a word, by the way. And that as the third. And what happened then was I started making parliamentary maneuvers to try to delay it to get us to 12 o'clock. I always thought I might have to do those things. I just thought if they were going to try to steal this damn thing, they would have done it earlier in the day. But they waited till close enough to midnight that I thought if I can do some of these things, we'll be able to get it to midnight. And then what happened was they started even cheating on that. One of the things I did was I appealed the ruling of the chair, which meant that was a debatable motion. And he had to put somebody else in the chair. I must admit, I thought it would buy me a little more time when I said I'm going to appeal the ruling of the chair, because I thought he would stay there, and I was going to then move to have him removed from the chair, the lieutenant governor, to get what I thought would be the president pro tem. He did something smart, and instead of doing the president pro tem at that time, he asked Senator Duncan of Lubbock to take the chair. But I thought he would stay in the chair. I thought that'd buy me,
Yeah.
When I appealed that, he gave that gavel up as though that damn thing was on fire. He was so ready to get out of the chair. And then, of course, that led to them trying to steal the floor again. And that was when Senator Vanderpute made her wonderful comment about how many times does a woman need to raise her hand and to be recognized over the men in the chamber. And the crowd that had been very deferential had sat and watched this bad behavior all day long. It decided to take it into its own hands, and it was really in my opinion, it was a great thing to see how they did that.
Yeah.
And so we were able to make it to midnight. Of course, after midnight, I spent a lot of time having to negotiate because we couldn't get the lieutenant governor to go out and say it was dead. So we had to work the exact language for him to come out and read. So he finally did it.
So I know we're getting close to the end, and Aaron has a question, but why can you briefly say why we had this incredible moment and yet here we are 11 years later in what I think is a worse position?
Yeah, because while our moment made a difference right then and there, it didn't impact what was happening at the national level, where the country elected a guy like Donald Trump, who appointed people to the Supreme Court that were openly anti-women and anti-women's health. And that led to the Dobbs decision. And what I tell people frequently, I said it the other day, I was speaking to the Texas Democratic women the other day, that I want us to remember exactly how we felt that night. And I don't mean just part of our emotions. I mean all of our emotions. I want us to remember the passion. I want us to remember how we felt it in our gut, that we needed to act in a way to make a difference, or we were going to lose, and we were going to lose something important. I want us to continue to feel the anger that we felt, and then remember what happened. Even though it was a moment, what happened was all of that emotion and all of that passion and all of that anger resulted in action. And if we don't use that in everything we do, and I don't mean just a filibuster or parliamentary inquiries to try to stop something, or even shouting down wrongful conduct. We have to do that when we're walking door to door, when we're making phone calls, when we're raising money for candidates, when we're recruiting candidates. Because if we don't, we find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves in today. That's not to suggest anybody's done wrong. It's just that we have to redouble our efforts.
Thank you. Aaron, are you going to embarrass me?
We'll see.
Okay.
First and foremost, Mayor, just want to say I do think you're a great job. I think you are a holding the torch and bearing it well for justice and trying to keep trying to get Texas where we need to be going, and I just want to say thank you.
That means a lot. Appreciate it.
Of course, I do want to mention I'd love a letter of recommendation for anything and everything, and I understand what I'm about to ask may take all that possibility away. But put you on the fire a little bit in descending order. I just want to say real quick, I believe it's important that all folks have, fair and equitable ways to get resources. Now, going in descending order, the city of Corpus Christi has 4, the city of Dallas has 3, the city of Houston has 2, city of San Antonio has 2, and yet the capital of the Lone Star State only has 1 Wiener Schnitzel. Now, do you have it on your docket to put a Wiener Schnitzel on the south side of Austin? Don't get me wrong. I love my lady in red on Breaker across the street from the stadium, but it's a trek if you're living on the south side.
I'm going to say the question itself, let me do it this way. The substance of the question is not what is embarrassing for you. It is that you're willing to admit that a der Wiener Schnitzel, a der dog is not enough motivation to cause you to go a little bit north to get what you want.
Wow.
I have equitable ways to get there, but not all of us do. That's the thing.
A der dog, somebody who really cares, you'll walk on your knees to get a der dog.
I will do for a junkyard dog. I will give you that. I respect the man who knows his menu at a Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, there you go.
Just want to mention that.
That's true. I was ready for that one.
That's great.
No, let me just go. I know der dogs, but I want to check your math here. You say Corpus has 4,
Yes.
Dallas has 3,
Correct.
San Antonio has 2. What's the other one that has
Houston
2?
has 2. Beaumont has 3. I understand Beaumont's not as large as us, so I didn't feel like it was
But
fair to bring them up.
who's the one that has 1?
Austin,
We are.
city of Austin. We're the only
City of
ones.
Austin. Well, my first der dog was in Lubbock, so I think Lubbock
Wow.
even has 1. So,
We could bump them up. Just we need those numbers
Okay.
up. That's all I'm saying.
well, some would argue that we have enough weenies in Austin, but I'm not going to go there.
Let's end with you telling us your favorite part about Over the Ledge, Mayor. What's your favorite memory?
Oh, well, those are 2 different questions. My favorite part of Over the Ledge is you, of course.
Aww.
But my favorite memory, yeah, that's right. My favorite memory I'm reminded of frequently because I still have residual pain in my left hip.
I do it.
We were talking about that earlier.
I heard about that story.
You've probably watched me a couple of times, shift in my chair. It's because of the fall I took on stage. But by damn, I caught that.
You
foot.
caught it.
It
Yeah.
was still good. It was
We always
still
tell
good.
that part of the story too. Is he
Yeah.
caught them?
The idea and what was amazing to me, and I don't know whether it's the reptilian part of my brain or the 7-year-old boy part of my brain, but when I realized this man is going to make me run across the stage and throw a football, I never questioned.
You did. You were out like a shot.
It's a reflex.
I
It-
mean,
I know.
I was like Travis Kelce.
That's right. And I was Taylor Swift going,
Oh,
oh God, I saw it happening. I was like, you're going to kill my boss.
Oh,
You're gonna hurt
and
my
there's a
boss.
great- I don't know whether you have to have seen it, but there's a great picture of me doing that,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and the look on your face is like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Well, thank you again, Mayor. This was really wonderful.
Well, I've had a
Terrific.
blast. This
you.
has been a blast, and as usual, you guys are funny and fun. So call on me anytime.
Thank you.
yay.
Thank you, Mayor.
So
Thank you, Mayor.
and
Woo!
All right.
Going out with the bang.
now with the
What
fireworks.
with the fireworks?
Okay.
Of course, I have
Thank you,
no idea
sir.
how to get off this thing. I know how to do fireworks, but how do I leave? Oh,
I'll remove you.
leave studio.
Leave studio. Bye, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Mayor.
you, Mayor.
I grilled him. I grilled him.
You got a lot of one-on-one attention there, Aaron. I would write this
That's
down in
right.
your journal. I mean it. Write this down.
He's always good.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, follow the script. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much to our special guest, Mayor Kirk Watson, and our comedic guests, Aaron Salinas and Paige Burnett. Where can people find you next? Aaron?
I'm going to be at Black Potion Theater in San Antonio for their open mic on February 27th. It's supporting Empower House in San Antonio. So highly recommend. It's a Tuesday, but yeah, Empower House is a great organization helping Black and brown little girls in the city of San Antonio. So yeah.
So that's
That's
Tuesday,
awesome.
this coming Tuesday.
Yeah, February 27th.
Awesome. Okay. And how about you, Paige? You're gonna be
Just at the local HEB doing my shopping, working, and working up to a performance like in the summer, hopefully. But no
Nice.
appearances.
That's
This is an
good.
appearance.
This is an
Is this
appearance.
your
You will
inaugural?
get me on Tuesday when you watch it.
That's right. Yes. Today.
Okay, Paige, you should write this down too, that you got your start on Over the Ledge. Just
With Kirk
Thank you.
Watson.
with Kirk
with
Watson.
the Kirk Watson.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Kirk Watson. Thank you. I feel
Okay.
privileged.
And Stephanie, you are Over the Ledge gracious Empress Stephanie Chiarello. You have a show coming up, I believe.
I do have a show on March 8th at New World Deli. That's a stand-up show. I'll also be doing a stand-up show for Merlin Works, I think on March 3rd. And then Over the Ledge is coming back. We'll talk more about that later.
That's
Amy, what about
right.
you? Is your record ready?
Yes, I am finishing up a jazz CD coming up soon. I hope we'll be done. We're working on it. And don't forget, we are returning live in person in a theater. Can I say which theater?
Yeah.
In the Scottish Rite Theater.
Hey.
So
Ooh,
welcome
I'm Scottish.
us.
That's
Yay!
right.
Yes. Yes, honoring Paige's heritage.
Yes.
And let's see, it's Over the Ledge Part 7, if you can believe it, October 11th through 13th. So mark your calendars now. And that's our show. If you like, oh, wait a minute, Stephanie, did you want to say something else?
I did. I want to say thank you to you for guiding us through this episode.
As
Just
always.
remember, she's glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. I wish I could do those things.
I know.
I know.
And
I'm
that's-
not jealous.
Right. We need those.
Just
And
you can
that's
do it
our
on if you have
show.
an iPhone. Just you can do it on an iPhone if you're FaceTiming. Just a heads up, you can still do that.
Oh, I'm on my
Yeah.
computer.
I'm Android.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok as @Over the Ledge.
Boom.
Goodbye.
We had 5 viewers this whole time. That's
Hey.
They come
Yeah.
and go normally. So thank you, Mom and Dad, and whoever else is out there.
I bet Sandy's out there. I bet my mom's watching. I told her about it.
Sandy,
you.
thank you,
Thank you,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was a